telling my wife the other day, every time we win a game around here, it's a record. It's a record for me. At home here, it's a record. We're extending that streak. Everything's a record as long as we keep going in the right direction.
Well, welcome into Monday Night Quarterback. Corey Miller, I think we all know that some great things have happened since Steve Spurrier has come to Columbia. A record upon a record upon a record. But he makes a good point. As they start their bowl minicamp this week, I guess they have to keep in mind keeping it going in the right direction. How do they keep piling up these firsts and maybe break through the glass ceiling and get into that SEC championship talk?
That's a good point. And here's the thing, and you hear them say, hey, every time we do something, we're getting first, which sometimes makes you think, a limited background or limited success. But again, you're right. You got to keep, going at it, plugging. You want to continue to win bowl games. You want to continue to have that extra practice time. You talked about the little mini camps that's going on right now. But, well, you got to get that championship. I mean, they've won bowl games. They've been very consistent at doing that. They had success over the in-state rival in Clemson. That changed. You beat some good programs. But, again, you got to get to, like you said, break that ceiling, to me, which is winning the SEC championship.
Well, another thing they're looking at here is possibly third straight year finishing up in the top 10. Of course, would be another check mark on the list. Ching. But like you said, you got to finish number one eventually, or at least number one in the SEC. Do we think that's a reasonable goal? Do you think some people are scratching their heads saying, well, man, when's that going to happen?
Well, here's the thing. All you got to do is look at Auburn and look at Gus Malzahn. I mean, he won a national championship with that Auburn team, went to Arkansas State, came back. This team won no games at all in the SEC last year, folks, and look where they are right now, playing for the national championship. So can that happen for the University of South Carolina? Absolutely. But it takes good football teams. It takes winning those games maybe you don't supposed to win. I mean, you look at Auburn, the Georgia, that should have lost that game fourth and a mile. They had fate on their side there. And then the Alabama, the kick, we'll call that the miracle at Jordan Hare. Jordan Hare, excuse me.
You got
to have some luck. I mean, you got to be good, but you got to have some luck.
All right, well, speaking of, you mentioned Clemson, the in-state rival. There has been, I guess, a considerable amount of chatter about Dabo Swinney and somehow tied to the Texas job. I don't think he's going there. I don't think that's going to happen. But how attractive really is Dabo Swinney to some of these really name-brand programs that are out there, seeing we keep hearing his name thrown around?
Well, here's the thing. They talked about him at Alabama, had Nick Saban taken that job at Texas. Dabo Swinney name actually came up in the conversation at Alabama, but I was like, I don't think so. But now you're talking about Dabo and Chad Morris. Chad Morris coming down from Texas, a great coach in the high school league out there. His name is big in Texas. You can bring a Dabo Swinney, which that recruiting budget, it's a national recruiting landscape, so they can do a lot of great things there. But here's the bottom line. Dabo Swinney and Chad Morris will not be going to Texas. If they're going to Texas, maybe to buy some boots or something like that. But they're not going to no hook 'em horns for Dabo and Chad Morris. I think James Franklin could be the next head coach, which I think if you can win at Vanderbilt, with the money Texas has, no doubt about it, you can win at Texas.
Think Morris could be going somewhere as a head coach somewhere?
He could. I thought maybe that Wake Forest job that came open, and a lot of people thinking Browse would leave, but he got an extended contract, and if Browse would have left, Chad Morris could have ended up in Texas again at that job. I think he's got to get that lower level job, the Arkansas State like Gus Malzahn, and then improve himself as a head coach, and then you make that leap. I think to get a major program, never been a head coach, I don't think that's going to happen.
All right, well, from here on out, we'll focus on the here and now. Bowl games in a couple weeks before we start shipping people off to far-off lands. But that's going to do it for Monday Night Quarterback. Thank you, as always, Corey, the pastor of pain. And we're going to be right back with a final look at your weather.